So every time I talk to you, I feel like you're always eating fish. Are you not worried about the mercury levels? Did you test those?
Good question. Yeah, I have been over the years. Like when I grew up, I was eating a lot of swordfish and tuna, like canned tuna, the albacore
Mm,
kind, but chunk lake has less mercury. So I started getting concerned about this when I was like more into strength training and body. And when I was living at college, I remember those really big cans of tuna, and I would just down a massive amount of tuna. And one of my professors said that, oh, and you'll get a kick out of this. So she had a couple friends, and they lost all their hair. They had like hair loss because of mercury poisoning and things like that. And I was losing my hair a lot back in like my early 20s and stuff. And I almost stopped eating, big fish like swordfish. And then I switched to chunk lake tuna. But then I went to mackerel. And now, maybe the last 15 years, I've been eating
mm,
sardines, and the sardines that I buy are typically third party tested. I think Consumer
mm.
Reports did a thing, and it's like, and then I went and got a hair test and a blood test for mercury, and it was like within like low normal. So like most people have a little bit higher mercury than me, and I eat an astronomical amount of fish. So I didn't get measured back then, but what that tells me is that if I'm eating mostly sardines and mackerel I've been eating, but
Mm.
I had salmon the other night, but I avoid bigger fish. So for the
Got
most
it.
part, except
Yeah,
when we go out, sometimes I'll have like grouper or something like that.
for sure. Yeah, stay away from shark and swordfish. I know, and tilapia, bottom feeder.
Yeah, well, it depends on where the tilapia is raised. Like our pond has tons of tilapia in it, and I've eaten the tilapia out of our pond, and I
Yeah.
tested the water in our pond, and it's actually EPA drinking standards as far as like pesticides and things like that. So yeah, but
Mm.
most tilapia is from places that you wouldn't want to eat it. So it's a good point.
Is there a genetic right? Exactly. Is there a genetic component to being able to handle mercury? Like if somebody ate the exact same thing as you, would they theoretically have super high mercury versus you because your body's able to handle it better?
Very good question. Yeah, we have all sorts of genetic SNPs and genetic anomalies. We could be potentially predisposed to certain toxins based upon our ability to detoxify, glucuronidation, and there's different enzyme systems that if you inhibit them, that impairs your ability to metabolize in the liver. So I'm actually teaching a class. So the workday is over, but I teach a night class in a little bit on for the medical students, nutrition and scholarly concentrations, and we talk about nutrition and how it relates to drug metabolism. And something like grapefruit juice
Mm.
inhibits the CYP3A4 enzyme, the cytochrome P450 enzyme system, and certain drugs, for example, statins. You'll have like a 300 to 400% elevation in your blood levels of certain statins and certain drugs if you consume it with grapefruit juice. So, and that's an example of taking like, something in your diet. A lot of herbal products also inhibit pathways, but genetically, yeah, it's quite a big spectrum. And that's why some people can have severe reactions to certain herbal products or drugs.
Yeah, I remember
But good
listening to
point. Yeah.
Rogan. I remember
Yep.
listening to Rogan. He said he was eating like 2 cans of sardines a day, and then he got his blood work done. The doctor's like, "Hey, listen, you have extremely high amounts of mercury in your bloodstream." So, and he was eating sardines, and everyone
Yeah.
says, "Oh, sardines okay because it's a small fish, so they don't eat enough to consume enough mercury for you to get." Flooded with mercury poisoning or have high levels of mercury in your bloodstream. He would beg to differ because he took the hair test and the blood test, and he wasn't eating shark or swordfish. He was eating canned sardines,
Mhm.
and the doctor's like, "Yeah, listen, you need to cut that shit out." And
Yeah.
he
There's
stopped,
other
and it went
things
down.
though. Yeah. I would like to know actually, I meant to bring that up the last time, the second podcast, what brand he was consuming. But I am pretty picky about the brands. But we have a wide variety of brands. I'm trying to think of the brand, and
Isn't
I
it
plugged them before.
wild something?
Yeah, yeah,
Wild Earth or something
Wild
like that? Wild
Planet, or no,
Planet, Wild Planet, Wild
yeah,
Planet.
I think it might be Wild Planet. Yeah, I
It's
should
Wild
know. It's
Planet.
like I've spent like thousands
Yeah.
of dollars over the years. Other brands that are good that are a little more variable. Seasons is pretty good. I saw some third party testing, not as low as Wild Planet, and also the red container. What's it? I don't know. There's
So
a couple. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. It has like a guy on the cover.
Guy on the cover, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
just if anyone's at a supermarket, go to the canned tuna / sardine section, and you'll see a red cover with a guy on the cover, and that's the one that
Yeah.
Dom's talking about for sure.
It'll
Do
come
they,
to me while I'm
yeah.
talking. So.
Well, do they just test each one and like, let's say out of every 10 cans, one is extremely high, and they just toss it?
Yeah, well, they do batches, lot numbers and stuff as they're coming off the boat. And the thing is, like, because my wife is a marine biologist and she studies manta rays, like, we've traveled abroad in all different places in Asia, and we'll kind of show up at these fish markets, and
Surprise.
you get the impression that the companies have a few different contractors that they send out, but they're just kind of getting whatever they can get the cheapest, so there's a variety of different people, and depending on where they put their nets and everything, and the wastewater runoff will depend. So you can have batches that could be potentially high. And Joe Rogan may have been eating different plants and things. If they're grown in soil that have arsenic or other heavy metals, then those plants will incorporate that into the structure of the plant. And then also like chickens, whatever they're fed, or even cows, if they're not grass fed, or even if the cows are feeding on grass that is in soil that's contaminated, it's going to show up.
Make sure you guys are getting tested. Test your hair follicles, test your blood, do a blood panel. Make sure if you're eating lots of fish that you're being responsible.
Yep.